Do you have a blindfold? I stared at him, my mouth hanging open just enough that Nari would have chided me over catching flies. A blindfold, I said, parroting the words back to him. Yeah, you know, something to cover my eyes with. The smile he gave me sent heat coursing through my veins and tightened things low in my body. I wanted to lean in toward him and breathe in the mixture of leather, sunshine, and something I could never quite put my finger on that made his scent so unique, yet so utterly familiar. As though he could read my mind, he leaned in closer and reached toward me, my breath caught in the back of my throat. This'll do, he said, plucking one of the wraps I used for the blades from the desk next to my hip. His arm brushed against my body as he lazily withdrew from me, leaving a fiery trail on my skin where he touched me. You can do the honors, he said. Make sure it's on good and tight so I can't cheat. He turned around and crouched low in front of me. He raised the hand that held the wrap over his shoulder, and I took it, my mouth dry as I fumbled to straighten it out. Fixing it over his eyes meant I had to touch his skin, and each time I did, tiny thrills of desire raced through me. He was doing this on purpose. He knew it was impossible for anyone to think clearly around him. Although I'd noticed Samira didn't have that problem. Settling the wrap over his eyes, I pulled it tight, giving it an extra tug to ensure it stayed secure. Not that I really believed Lun would cheat. Considering his unseelie heritage, he was still the most honorable Fae I'd ever met. Cheating just wasn't necessary for him, not when he was so damned good at everything anyway. Patting him on the shoulder, I let him straighten up once more. Lun tilted his head back, raising his face in the air. Then he turned to the side, squaring his shoulders as though trying to get his bearings. He raised the arm that held the blade and flicked his wrist back before whipping it forward once more and loosening his hold on the wickedly sharp iron knife. I heard the faintest of noises as it missiled through the air, then found myself staring at the mannequin that had been Lun's target as it fell over and collapsed to the floor. You missed, I said, my voice rising in surprise. Did I? Lun raised the blindfold off one eye as he peered out from beneath it. Nope, he said. Look again. I stared at the mannequin. I was used to seeing a blade wedged into the hole in the center, a hole I'd created through repeated blade-throwing training sessions. But there was no blade. I studied the hole a little more closely. Was it bigger? Without going in for a closer examination, there was no way to really tell. You definitely missed. The blade is... I trailed off as I glanced at the exact spot where the mannequin had been resting just moments before and caught sight of the iron knife embedded in the concrete blocks of the wall. Told you I didn't miss, Lun said, an edge of pride in his voice. Come on, I said. How is that remotely fair? You were once worshipped as a god of war, while the rest of us mere beings had to make do with made-up tales of our misdeeds, told around the fire to keep naughty children in check. Lun shrugged, managing to simultaneously look both drop-dead gorgeous and utterly maddening. It was definitely one of his more infuriating and overlooked talents. I can show you how if you'd like, he said, his voice dropping several octaves. My toes curled up in my boots. You can show me, but don't make it weird, I said. Would I? Lun raised an eyebrow at me. As I opened my mouth to answer, Lun silenced me with a shake of his head and started to laugh.